Hey, it's Meatball.
And Mark.
And this is the Rocker Morning Show on demand from 107.7 RKR. 107.7 RKR, it is the Rocker Morning Show with Meatball.
And Mark Frankhouse.
What is happening, man?
How you doing, dude?
I am fantastic today.
Sweet.
I don't know why nothing is different today than yesterday, other than it's Tuesday, I guess.
Right. I'm not a big fan of the Thunder from last night. Not your beloved basketball team. I'm talking about the weather that has had me up since 9:30.
I got to be honest. Oh, God, man. I got to be honest with you, though. I had no idea it was thundering last night. Like, I woke up and everything was wet this morning, and I was like, oh.
Because you don't have a dog, Meatball.
Well, that's true.
You would have known.
That's true.
Scarlett let me know. Oh, my God.
Speaking of let her sleep in the thunder blanket last night?
Yeah, pretty much. Speaking of which, you know, a lot of people, like, say stuff about our generation.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, man. We grew up, you know, taking some risks in life.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, the older generations, man, I don't know, maybe they're fed up with life or something. They just don't care.
Okay.
I go to take Scarlett for a walk yesterday, and I live in the Vine neighborhood, and I walk outside, and there's a down line right in front of my house. And it's draped actually across the road with a wire hanging down, like actually in the road.
Oh, wow.
And so I actually had to step into the road and let drivers know, hey, there's a down wire here.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm trying to call consumers. Of course, every time I try to call them and get a hold of somebody, the line disconnects. So I can't even call consumers because their phone line doesn't work.
Cool.
So I had to call dispatch so that I could let them know, hey, could you get a hold of consumers? Because, like, this is an issue.
Yeah.
And it was causing fights. Dude almost got out of his car and whooped another dude's ass.
Whoa.
It was like, yeah, it was pretty extreme. But it got
from
to
you stopping traffic?
Well, because the guy, there was like two cars, and the guy behind the guy didn't see that there was a down power line, so he honked, and then he said something else, and he had big words for him, and dude almost whooped his ass.
So you turn around and be like, you go move it. You go pick up that power line.
And the guy behind him didn't see the down line.
Yeah.
So the funny thing is these two older women, probably in their 70s, roll up in their car, and I stop them, and I'm like, hey, there's a down wire. I'm trying to get a hold of somebody. And they're like, can I drive across it? And I'm like, I mean, technically, yes, but that's like a 50-50 chance you're going to die.
Yeah.
And they were just like, oh, well. And they just continue to drive. So they were just, this lady was perfectly willing to risk her friend's life.
She's like, I'm 70, she's 70, we're good.
I don't know what was going through their heads. I was just like, I mean, if you wanna, but like, I'm not going to say, yes, drive over that and then watch you, bite the big bazooka. I'm not going to take blame for that. I was actually trying to be a good citizen out here.
Yeah.
Protecting people. Meanwhile, these two old ladies were like, screw it.
What were...
YOLO. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I have this picture in my head because you haven't told me whether they were driving or anything. All I can see is like this, I don't know, this like Thelma and Louise if they made it into their 70s situation.
Pretty much.
And they're driving this big boat of a Lincoln, and she just like, can we drive across? And you're like, sure. And she just screams, YOLO! And they just gun it across the power line. There's this big spark fireball, and that's the end of the movie.
That's the end of their life.
Jesus.
107.7 RKR. It's a Rocker Morning Show with Mark Frankhouse.
And Meatball.
So probably one of the most talked about viral videos, I would say even of the decade so far, is this Haktua girl. Her real name is Haley Welsh, and the girl has been pretty much an anomaly because there was all sorts of rumors about what the heck she was. There was this thing where, like, she was the niece of a pastor at a church, which was a lie.
Well, then they thought her dad was the pastor at one point.
And then that she was a school teacher, and she's like then a bartender, and nobody knows.
Yeah.
Now, doesn't matter what she's doing, because now she's going to be super famous and super rich. I mean, she's already super famous, but now she's capitalizing because she's got her own Haktua line of clothing that she's selling. And
that doesn't surprise me.
According to TMZ, you can now book her for appearances. She was at the Dare Day Club at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida.
Uh-huh.
And TMZ reported that not only is she possibly in line for landing a reality TV series.
Oh, my Lord.
But she made $30,000 for her appearance.
What?
$30,000
for saying Hawk Tuah spit on that thing on an interview that went viral on the internet.
$30,000 and a reality TV series.
Mark, you and I are in the wrong profession.
I just need to cry.
What do you do with if you hire the Hawk Tuah girl for an appearance?
She literally just gets up there on the mic and goes Hawk Tuah and gets people riled up.
And then that's it? Like she gets paid $30,000 for that?
Pretty much. $30,000, man. I guess it just kind of blows my mind that, I don't know her personally, but well, yeah. What do we do as far as a show is concerned? How does that show look? What do you even do?
Maybe is a reality show? Is that what they're looking at?
I think so.
Yeah.
Apparently she was heading to Nashville because they're in the talks of starting a reality show. I have no idea what you could even do with this.
Isn't she's in college still, right?
I
remember the interview she did with Barstool Sports. She was like, I work in a spring factory. So that's her job. She makes springs. Oh. I don't know what kind of springs. I just know she said in the interview she works in a spring factory.
That's weird. Well, if you got $30,000 and you want to book her for an event, we actually have the link on the 1077 RKR app. If you've got $30,000 to Hawk Tuah away, just blow it. So, yeah. So, yes, she is making personal appearances. But if, you're just going to have your pocketbook ready. And if you're having trouble opening it, Hawk Tuah and spit on that thing.
It's time to turn up your dials and tune out the traffic because we're playing The Daily 5 on the Rocker Morning Show. Testing the mental magnitude of your favorite morning monkeys on the radio. And now, your hosts for the Daily 5, Meatball and Mark Frank House.
It is the Daily 5 where Mark and I ask each other questions. The other one answers. Today, I'm asking the questions. Mark is answering. And Mark, you got help on the line today from John. Good morning, John. How are you? John, you there?
Oh, yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
All right. Good to go. All right.
John's ready to go, man.
All right. Well, John, you got to help me get 3 out of 5 questions correct. If you do, we'll tie it up 1-1. If not, Meatball will take the 2-0 lead for the week.
Let's go. Question number 1. This is entertainment. In Quentin Tarantino's film, The Hateful Eight, the score of the film is mostly comprised of unused music from what 1982 horror film? Is it The Thing, Poltergeist, or Friday the 13th, Part 3?
Man, what the hell? The Thing, Poltergeist, or Friday the 13th, Part 3.
Unused score used for The Hateful Eight.
I'm surprised I didn't know this. I actually really like that movie. A lot of people didn't like that movie because there was a lot of heavy dialogue, but it was the storytelling, Yeah. I don't know.
Have you seen The Hateful Eight or any of these other movies?
No, I don't like things like that. I'd say maybe the Poltergeist.
Yeah, you know what? It's a shot in the dark, so let's just go for it. Let's go Poltergeist. Final answer.
Poltergeist. Final answer. No, it was The Thing. Also starring Kurt Russell.
That's
coincidentally. Yeah.
See, if I'd have known that, I probably would have gone with The Thing.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay, question number 2. This is also entertainment. What New York rapper is the voice for Reptar in the cartoon series Rugrats? Is it Nas, Ja Rule, or Busta Rhymes?
Nas, Ja Rule, or Busta Rhymes.
The voice of Reptar, the big green dinosaur in Rugrats.
Trying to think who was big back in the 90s. Is this currently in the new show?
I think every entity, every iteration of Rugrats.
Nas, Ja Rule, or Busta Rhymes?
John, did you ever watch like Rugrats cartoons with kids?
John,
with your kids or anything?
I think missed the ball on that one.
Let's see.
Ja Rule.
Maybe when in doubt, pick C. Maybe a 3.
Yeah, Busta Rhymes. He was pretty big back in the day, even though, Ja Rule was too. But yeah, let's go with Busta Rhymes. Final answer.
When in doubt, go with C. It is Busta Rhymes.
I had no idea. That is so crazy. I don't remember seeing him on the credits. Maybe they used his real name.
Probably. Question number 3. This is music. According to a recent survey of karaoke hosts, what is the most popular karaoke song of all time?
Oh, Lord.
Is it Shania Twain, Man, I Feel Like a Woman, Journey, Don't Stop Believin', or Coolio's Gangsta's Paradise?
Man.
I Feel Like a Woman, that's A.
I want to go with Shania Twain, even though, we know it's got to be Journey, Don't Stop Believin'.
You got to think of all the guys that get...
I really think it's Don't Stop Believin', even though I want it to be I Feel Like a Woman.
John, do you have any thoughts on this?
I'd go with Journey, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you almost have to. This is one of those questions that's kind of deceiving because you want to answer the question with the one you feel, but it could be one off. And again, you never know with these studies and surveys. But let's go with our gut. Let's go with what we know and say Journey. Final answer.
Going with Journey. Final answer.
Yeah, it's Shania Twain.
It was Shania Twain.
Yeah.
You got to think of all the guys that get out there and sing it ironically.
Yeah.
I have definitely not done that before.
I highly disagree with those findings, but yeah. All right, got to run the table here, John.
Question number 4. This has to do with sports. When Michael Jordan debuted the Air Jordans, he was fined $5,000 every game he wore them. Why? Was it because each team was required to wear the same shoes during a game because they considered it part of the uniform? The high top part of the shoe was actually too high for NBA requirements, or the NBA required shoes be at least 51% white.
51%. How do you even measure that?
Well, more than half, I guess.
More than half white.
John, do you remember when he debuted those Air Jordans?
No, I remember people standing in line at the mall fighting over them.
Oh, yeah.
Thing is, the Chuck Taylors were pretty high, though, too. And the Chuck Taylors were...
Could be, yeah.
Man.
That was the big shoe, I think, in the 70s and 80s.
Trying to remember the first Air Jordans, what they looked like. I think they were black and red.
I don't think it's the color, because I think they wear all different color shoes.
Yeah. Did they have a mandate, though? I distinctly remember almost everybody wearing white shoes back then, though. So
well, sounds good to me.
Let's go with white. It has to be 50% white. Final answer.
Well, all right. Got to be white shoes. Final answer. That is actually correct. His shoes were completely black and red.
Yeah.
Which went against the 51% white policy.
Crazy.
Yep. All right.
Man.
Down to the final question. This one is history. In medieval times, not the restaurant, the actual period in time.
I'm screwed.
The Christian church banned what food during Lent that is now considered okay? Was it eggs, nuts, or honey?
Eggs, nuts, or honey.
Mm-hmm. So this would have been, I think, like the 1500s, 1600s, something like that.
Man, John, I'm struggling with this one here.
I think maybe nuts.
Nuts? I think we'd be nuts to say eggs. That was just my terrible attempt at a joke in these wee hours of the morning. Yeah, you know what, John? I say we get nuts, and we go nuts and try to get this W. What do you think?
Yeah, let's try it. See what happens.
Nuts. Final answer.
Nuts. Final answer. Well, you were nuts for not picking eggs.
Wow.
It was eggs. In fact, that's what led to their popularity during Easter.
Bummer.
Yeah.
Well, Meatball starts the week off with a 2-0 lead. Woo! But we got 3 days left to go, and I'm going to make your life a living hell. Just kidding. John, you know what? Good news for you, buddy. You're going to be at Artemis Pyle this Saturday at Warner Vineyards for their summer concert series. Congratulations.
Thank you.
.1077 RKR. It's the Rocker Morning Show with Mark Frankhouse.
And I'm Meatball.
I've been watching Star Trek Voyager. This is the first time I've ever gotten into Star Trek. It took me 38 years of my life to finally get into it, but I'm finally starting to get into it, actually following it. And probably one of the, from what I've seen amongst the Trekkies, one of the most beloved characters from all of the shows is Captain Janeway.
Easily one of the more popular captains, for sure.
Yeah. Now, was going to get super dorky, okay, but Captain Catherine Janeway, it's played by Kate Mulgrew, and she was actually in person over Zoom, she joined the unveiling of a statue that's in Indiana of Captain Janeway.
Oh.
And this is in Indiana. It's in Bloomington. And she was actually joining via FaceTime. This was during the height of the pandemic, because this was like 2020. The reason it's in Bloomington is because she's going to be born there in 322 years.
Yep. Yeah, Bloomington, Indiana is the future home of Captain Janeway.
312, sorry.
Yes.
But that's why it's there. But you were also telling me there's other Star Trek, there's other statues out there, right?
Oh, yeah, because Captain Kirk was from Iowa, so there's a statue I can't remember the name of the small town that Kirk is from in Iowa, but there's an actual statue of Captain Kirk in Iowa. There's a statue, I believe, for First Contact in Bozeman, Montana, or in that area, because of the movie First Contact, where they make contact with the Vulcans for the first time with an alien species, happens in Bozeman, Montana during that movie First Contact. I'm not sure about Jean-Luc Picard, because he is actually from France in the movie and the series and stuff. So there's nothing in America. But a lot of the characters, especially from the original series, are from the Midwest. There's a few of them that are San Francisco natives, because that's where Starfleet is in Star Trek. And, but yeah, a lot of the characters and stuff are really from the Midwest. So they talk about Indiana, Iowa, Ohio, none from Michigan though that I'm aware of.
Yeah. Not yet, at least.
Yeah.
But if you want to check out this statue, it looks amazing. It's of Kate Mulgrew's character from Voyager. You can check it out on the 1077 RKR app. I actually have the address where you can find it as well. If you're ever driving through the state and you're a Trekkie, you want to check it out? It looks pretty sweet, man.
I have to apologize. I just realized how unbelievably nerdy I just sounded there.
Right. It's okay. For the rest of you, may the force be with you, or whatever Gandalf said.
1077 RKR, it is the Rocker Morning Show with Meatball, Mark Frankhouse, and we should be getting a call here in just a second from John Jackson, who is he works with the estate of Bon Scott, and he's actually the world's first person to ever have a degree in rock history. So he's a pretty interesting dude. He works directly with Sony, manages the libraries of Elvis, Bob Dylan, Johnny Cash. He's a big deal. So, there's let's see. Yep, there he is on the line right there. Good morning, John.
Great, Meatball. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Boy, you have got a busy day. The massive celebration of Bon Scott there in New York, man. Are you amped up and ready for this?
Oh, we are so ready for this. Yeah, I mean, it's our first, hopefully, annual birthday bash for Bon. And, we're starting small. It's about 100 people, loud, sweaty rock club, Lower East Side of New York City. And we've sort of modeled it after the band AC/DC's famous secret show at CBGB's that they did in 1977.
Nice.
And so we have that spirit, that vibe. We've got 16 different singers doing 16 songs with a killing backing band. So we're psyched. We're ready. It's nearly sold out. I think there's only a couple of tickets left. If you're in the area and you want them, there's a link on our website, bonscottofficial.com. And we're really looking forward to it.
Well, John Jackson on the phone with me here. I guess we can call you a rock and roll expert, since you seem to be, as far as I know, the only person who holds a degree in rock and roll history. Is that right?
I was the first, for sure.
Okay.
I can't say that anyone has not done it since then, but Yeah, I graduated in 1997 with the first bachelor's degree in rock and roll history. So that was I was started down the road of understanding, studying, exploring, the history of music and all of these amazing characters that made all this great music that we love, and really studying them and expanding their stories rather than contracting them. That's what we're doing for Bon. We want to make sure that people don't forget who he was, both as AC/DC's frontman, but also in groups prior, and just sort of his personality and why he embodies that spirit of rock and roll so much.
How did this celebration for Bon Scott come up?
So the idea of live events was something that we wanted to sort of get a hold of, because in the 44 years since he passed, there have been a lot of great tributes to him, but also some really dodgy ones. So, the family wanted to sort of go, let's do our own so that we can, have one that we can have oversight over, so that it's quality, it's managed properly, it's presented properly. So that's what we decided to do, and we're starting small. This is only our first year, and we're building towards the 80th birthday, which will be in 2026,
right,
and beyond. But we've got some amazing folks coming down, people that have won Broadway Tony Awards, and one of the guys that was like a Phantom of the Opera on Broadway.
Oh my gosh!
Some really powerful rock and roll singers. That all said yes immediately.
Yeah.
To doing the show, and also it was very strange because all of them sort of had their own favorite song. So it's not like everybody was fighting over Highway to Hell. It was like, oh no, I love Sin City, or oh no, I love If You Want Blood, You've Got It, or oh, I really love to do Dirty Deeds.
The idea now that you've kind of put in my head, and of course my brain goes to this because I'm 12 years old. The idea of somebody who performed as Phantom of the Opera on Broadway, performing Big Balls by Bon Scott and AC/DC. I don't know why that makes me laugh, but it does.
Well, there's actually, if you go on YouTube, there is a mashup that somebody did of the Phantom of the Opera theme song and Big Ball, the lyrics of Big Balls.
No way.
Yeah. I think it's called like the Phantom of the Balls or something. So,
well, the Bon Scott tribute is happening in New York. Might be a little short notice for some people around here to get tickets, but is there another way that people can participate and take part in this celebration of Bon Scott's life?
I think just crank it up and play some Bon Scott music at home would be a terrific thing to do.
Well, I think we can definitely do that for you on the rocker, man. John Jackson, we appreciate your time today, man. John and I have a lot more to talk about in the full version of this interview. We're going to talk a lot more. It's going to be up on demand on the Rocker Morning Show podcast on the 107.7 RKR app, which you can download. 107.7 RKR is the Rocker Morning Show with Meatball.
And Mark Frankhouse.
What's up, man? I should probably turn your mic on over there. We got to talk to Josh. I keep saying Josh Jackson. Want to say Josh Jackson. That's the actor from the Mighty Ducks. That's Joshua Jackson. Sorry. John Jackson. If you don't know who John Jackson is, we talked to him about the Bon Scott celebration that's happening in New York later today. He works with the estate of Bon Scott. He also manages the catalogs for Sony for Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash, Bob Dylan. He's a senior vice president there at part of the company. So, I mean, he's a big deal. He also played guitar for the Jayhawks for a while, which is pretty awesome. But he couldn't have done all of this stuff in his career had he not gone to get a degree. And he did so in the 90s at Indiana University when college was a little more affordable.
Very true.
He is the world's first holder of a degree in rock and roll history.
That's impressive. The very first one, huh?
Very first one. Now, Indiana offered courses before. In fact, there was a guy who offered a rock and roll history course, and he kind of became a legend at the university. Glenn Gass was his name. He offered this rock and roll history course, and John loved it so much, he went to him and was like, tell me other rock and roll courses I can take at this university. Help me develop basically the repertoire for this kind of degree. He took part in the independent studies degree program that Indiana has, so you basically can create your own degree based on what you're studying. And yeah, he was the world's first person to ever have a degree in rock and roll history, and now he manages the libraries of some of the biggest artists in the world.
Man, that is mind-blowing.
Now, you can still do this at Indiana University. You can get an undergraduate certificate for rock history. This is the course load that you have to take in addition to, all your your 101s, basically, your basic courses. Your specific ones you have to take are History of the Blues and then History of Rock and Roll Music 1, 2, and 3. So
interesting.
4 required courses there. And then you pick 2 of the following courses. You can either do the music of the Beatles, the music of Frank Zappa, Jimi Hendrix, Bob Dylan, or the Beastie Boys. Sorry, Beach Boys, not Beastie Boys, Beach Boys.
I was going to say, wow, that is a jump.
Beach Boys, sorry about that. But yeah, you take those courses in with your 101s and your basic music degree courses, and you can have your own degree in rock and roll history.
Man, that doesn't sound too hard.
No.
Especially since I pretty much study music anyways.
Right. Like, I mean, I would benefit probably from these courses because I'll be like, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I guess he does this whole thing with like the feel of music in his Beach Boys. He calls it the Good Vibrations class.
Yeah.
And he talks about the Beach Boys, and he goes through the composer aspect of that song with the Beach Boys and stuff. That's very, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've seen stranger courses being offered, at other universities. There's the Star Wars and religion course being offered at Kalamazoo College. So,
very true.
I don't know. I'm down for this. I have my degree, but I'm not opposed to getting another one, man.
Yeah. Live long and prosper.
God, stop doing it. 2 for Tuesday on 107.7 RKR. It is the Rock and Morning Show with Meatball.
And Mark Frankhouse.
You and I were never really alive during the era of the Milkman.
No.
I think that pretty much died off in, I would say, the early 70s or so.
Some people could have been born because of the era of the Milkman.
Well, that's a rumor that has definitely gone around. But older generations remember, and I say older generations with absolute kindness here, experienced generations, we'll put it like that, remember the Milkman in like the 50s and 60s especially. They would come to your house, you would leave your empty milk jugs out front, and then they would replace them with the new milk jugs, and you bring them inside, right?
Yeah.
There's a family dairy in the state of Indiana, and I'm probably going to pronounce the last name wrong, and I'm so sorry, but it's Kuhnert or Keinert. I'm going to say Keinert Dairy Farm. They're just outside of Fort Wayne. They are known for a few things. One, they use glass containers for their milk.
Classic.
And they're beautiful, big. You can buy them in gallon, liter, whatever you need. Mm-hmm. As far as that's concerned. 2, they're known for their strange flavors of milk as well. So not just plain milk, chocolate, and strawberry. They also have flavors like cotton candy, orange creamsicle milk. Like, you give me a glass of orange creamsicle milk in the morning, like, I'm down on that sucker, man.
Yeah, that's intense.
My bones are going to be super strong. Can't break them.
Nah, impenetrable.
So not only are they kind of new age with the new flavors and stuff, but they are still kind of old school with the glass bottles and stuff. This is a 6th generation family that has run this farm. They want to bring back the Milkman.
I'm not opposed to that. That's kind of a cool idea.
So it would be through, and doing it kind of in a modern way, it would be online orders. And already they offer like a rebate within the store if you bring in empty bottles. Mm-hmm. You get so much off your next bottle or whatever, because you're saving them cost for sure.
True.
They want to do like an online service where they will do like at-home deliveries for your milk, which is pretty awesome.
It's pretty sweet. Where are they located?
They're in Elkhart. They're in that area of kind of northern Indiana. And I think they haven't started this yet. They'll probably start small and locally, But I like the idea of the Milkman coming around because, as we've mentioned before, I'm a big fan of DoorDashing my groceries at this point because it keeps me from buying a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, just do that with the milkman. And on top of that, I'm getting, cotton candy and orange creamsicle milk with it as well.
Tell you what, if Prairie Farms can just do this for their chocolate milk.
Oh, my Lord. Prairie Farms, our studio sponsor. If y'all want to do like just a weekly delivery of chocolate milk here at the studio.
Just saying.
We'd be down with that. 100%. I would like to point out, though, somebody should probably keep an eye, once they institute the milkman back in Elkhart, somebody should probably keep an eye on the birth rate in town.
Guess that would be an important note. That way we can finally put it to bed, so to speak.
That's the implication. 107.7 RKR is the Rocket Morning Show with Meatball.
And Mark Frankhouse.
So, Hurricane Beryl, now a tropical depression, tropical storm, tropical depression.
It's got me depressed.
Right. Moving up through the United States now. In fact, this morning it is kind of in the Arkansas, Missouri area, and the center of the storm where they're tracking it is actually in Arkansas. But the thing is the majority of the rain and the storm part of this is now going to be on the north side of where they say the center of that storm is. So we've been watching tracking of this storm as it moves up into the Midwest. And my brother, who lives in Cincinnati, sent out this message to, our family, my folks and myself, and was like, we're going to get the hurricane. And he showed the tracking for it. And I was like, that's cool. The center of the storm is going to go over you. We're going to get all the rain. He goes, no. We'll get it here. That's where the main part of the storm is. I was like, no. That's where the center of, go stand outside for any period of time. You can tell it's hot and humid, and it feels like you're in Florida.
Yeah, it doesn't seem right because
Illinois, northwestern Indiana, and right through southwest Michigan.
Boom.
Straight up through central Michigan as well, headed into Canada. So rivers that you're used to, don't go chasing waterfalls, that kind of thing, listen to TLC on this one. But yeah, flood watches and warnings in effect for areas of low-lying areas, around rivers and streams and whatnot. So, yeah, we're getting Beryl. Beryl is barreling its way up to, the Midwest now, and we're going to get a lot of rain from that.
It's got us over a barrel, so to speak.
Yeah. One thing I have seen people do before, I told you yesterday, one of those systems moved up through Oklahoma when I was living there, and it just rained and rained and rained for like 2 days. People broke out their kayaks. They didn't have to go to the lake. They just went down their street. You don't have to travel to go kayaking. That's pretty cool.
At least we're not ski-doing off of Riverview Drive like we were a few years ago.
Yeah, the growlers might want to consider a water hazard in the outfield in a couple of days. Do they have home games this week? I don't know. If they do, they might need